Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Hi, Angelica. Good. You guys are all muted for now. Looking to make sure everybody else is connecting. Can everybody else type in the chat and let me know you can hear me okay? Perfect. Thanks, Lauren. I can hear you. Can hear you. Yes. Okay, good. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, excited to see everybody, even though you're all a bunch of names on Zoom. That'll still work. Oh, hi, Mrs. Cade. How are you? Oh, Dr. Kosier's here. Okay, awesome. Perfect. All coming in. So this is great. I'm so excited you guys are here and we have an opportunity to chat and answer your questions. As you guys all know, I'm here to address any specific questions or thoughts or more information that you would like about the pet cancer prevention course so I can answer them for you. We want to make sure that everybody that joins us is really excited about it and it's the right fit for them and it's the right time for them. So yeah, so that's what I'm here for. So it looks like our group, we weren't sure how many people to expect. But it looks like it's a small enough group that whatever questions you guys have, we can either have you raise your hand and I can unmute you so that you can ask it, or if you want to type it in the chat, I can read it and go from there. So anybody who wants to start, you guys can feel free. Oh, all right, Michelle, let me unmute you. Let's see here. All right, asked to unmute. So you should be able to unmute now.
I can. I did. Thank
Hi,
you.
Michelle. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm really excited about the class.
Yay.
I had a question because I was reading the DocuSign information, and there's one thing in number 7, the licensing, and it says that basically that you can use the materials. But if there may be a monthly fee. But when I looked at the class itself, it said that we can go back and look at the materials over and over and over again. So I was confused about that.
I wonder if that's something that is there is no monthly fee for you to use the materials. You can, I'm just gonna grab me a piece of paper so I can write this down and follow up with you, Michelle. So you said it's number 7?
Yes.
In the DocuSign. I'll make sure we follow up with you specifically about that. I wonder if it's just unclear in the way that the description is listed. So you will have access to the materials lifetime. You'll always have them. There'll be no problem. The only thing there is to know about the access to the materials is that you can't teach it to other people.
Oh, absolutely. I understand that for sure. Yes, yes.
But yeah, it's yours to access. You'll always have it. We're going to figure out what to do about like if there's new programs in the future, which parts you guys will continue to get access to, and if something is like wildly changed, that it may be a different program, but probably updates you guys will also get access to. So I will follow up with you about that for sure. And I'm pretty sure, Michelle, we have your the email that you have on file from the DocuSign is fine to get back to you with.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
and actually I submitted a question through the
email.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
so that's the same question that I had.
Great.
So great.
Perfect.
Okay, well I appreciate your answering that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here to ask your question. Awesome. Great. So I see some people in here I recognize. Hi, Tom. Hi, Lori. Who else has a question? We can move on to the next one. And hi, Janet from New York. I'm sure it is beautiful right now. What other thoughts do you guys have? Let me look in the chat. I don't see any other questions in the chat right now. Let's see. Any other hands? I don't see any other hands right now. All right, guys, what you got? Give it to me. Here to whatever you want to know about the course. Jess, I'm going to make you the host since you're here. Thank you. So that in case other people come in, you can let them in. Can you talk about the content structure? How many hours people should plan to devote? Thanks, Dr. Kosher. That's a good idea. So I actually have a content outline for you guys that I will do a screen share and show you. So we can just talk through it a little bit together. Jess, can you please make me the host again? I apologize, so that I can share this.
Yes, give me just 1 second to do that.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm on my phone and it just doesn't give me the option. So I'm working on it.
maybe I can take host back from you if you're gonna let me do that.
I might have it now. Make host. Okay, you should be good.
Okay, let me share now. Yeah, okay, host tools. All right, let's see. Let me make sure that this works. Let's see here. Okay, here we go.
It's a great question.
Sorry, guys. All right, that's not working well. I will keep fighting with this and see if I can get the screen open. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll just walk it through you guys. So walk through it with you guys. So as far as the content structure goes, there's going to be 8 weeks of courses or course material, but you guys are actually going to have 9 major topics broken down into 3 sections. So the first section is going to be about the background and the introduction and all of the information about how cancer happens and how cancer cells develop, so that you have a really strong foundation of understanding of all of these factors that we know of. So that'll be kind of the big first section. The second section is about the root causes of cancer. So this is where we're going to get really deep into mostly nutrition, environmental factors, and toxins. So in nutrition, we're going to cover the macronutrients that we talk about, things like protein and carbs and fats, but we're also going to be talking about processing, what type of commercial foods, what type of homemade food. We're going to talk about when to feed, when not to feed, which is fasting is a really hot topic that a lot of people are talking about. And then we're going to be talking about metabolic health in general. So how heavy should your pet be? How skinny should your pet be? How do you evaluate for metabolic health? For environment, we're going to talk about things like air, water pollution, second, third-hand smoke, Wi-Fi, 5G, radiation, cell phone towers, cleaning supplies, grooming supplies, home use products, and then a lot about your geographical location and things that you should be aware of depending on where you live, either in the country or the world, that you could potentially be exposed to that are carcinogens. And then we'll get into the specific veterinary toxins. So things like vaccines, flea tick heartworm medications, hormones, so related to spaying and neutering, a lot about the processed byproducts and commercially available pet foods so that people understand what the concerns with those are, and then infections, molds, plastics, heavy metals, and then definitely touching on emotions and stress and sleep, because those are really, really important on the human side. And then the last big section is going to be where you get your scorecard and you take that big exam, the big quiz, and you get the actual number for your pet, and you can identify those areas where the biggest weaknesses are and where you're going to want to focus your time. And then the last 2 lectures are the basic and advanced techniques that you're going to do in each one of those sections to bring down that score to something that's lower. So with how much time you're going to spend, each section is going to have 3 smaller modules, and each module is going to have like 6 to 7 lectures. And each one of those are going to be about 5 to 10 minutes in length. So if you're someone who likes to sit down on a Saturday and just spend a few hours watching the videos, you can do them all in one sitting. They'll probably take between 1 and 3 hours. Or if you're someone who just wants to do it on a daily basis, like after dinner before you go to bed, you can just watch 1 or 2 videos. It'll take you 15 to 20 minutes. So each week, I would suggest putting aside 1 to 3 hours to listen to the lectures, as well as you guys will get a homework assignment every week. And then I also will provide some supplemental handouts and readings to kind of support what I'm teaching you. So 1 to 3 weeks to get through everything. So let me know if that makes sense about that. Okay, that's that question. Is the Zoom meeting on the 30th the same as this one? Are questions during this meeting limited to questions about the course, not questions about pet health cancer for these Zooms? Yes. So this Zoom is, thank you for reminding me to say that, Heidi. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the Zoom. Obviously, this Zoom, I have no valid patient veterinarian client relationship with you guys. I cannot give you medical advice. This is purely just to answer questions about the course for anybody that's interested in joining, so that you can make sure you know exactly what to expect. And the Zoom on the 30th, yes, it's going to be the same thing, just an open Q&A for me about anything related to the course and enrolling. Tom, hello. What protocol should we follow as dogs become seniors, such as less vaccines? How often to check the microbiome? Yeah, so since this is about the course and not about medical advice, those types of things will be in the course, because it will help to put together a plan for you to know which area you should focus on first. So when something that pet owners always want to know is, you guys have a bunch of access to really amazing information online. Colleagues of mine like Judy Morgan and Karen Becker and Rodney, and there's so many of them now that have amazing information online to help you and to identify really amazing supplements and longevity hacks and all these really cool things. But what can be really hard and overwhelming for you as pet parents is, where do you start? Where do you focus your time? Where do you focus your money? And so what the goal of me doing this course specifically and creating that scorecard is that when you take that quiz, that protocol that you'll follow for your seniors will be tailored for your senior dog based on the weaknesses or the strengths that we see in that protocol. So yeah, such as less vaccines, how often to check the microbiome. In that scorecard, in the categories, there will be sections for things like microbiome health and vaccines, so that it'll help you to identify, are you at an optimal kind of score in that section, or are you above where we want you to be? All right, so Heidi said, thank you, no problem. Will you be talking about the various cancer early detection tests, nutritional tests such as vitamin D testing, and how, when to do it? So I will be talking about all of the diagnostics that you can perform. And when you guys get to the reassessment lecture, which is the 7th lecture, as part of the reassessment, along with the scorecard and taking that quiz, you're going to get access to all the diagnostic tests that you can do direct to consumer if you want to dive deeper. So along with the information that I'm going to be giving to you guys, I'm going to be suggesting a bunch of diagnostics when you're interested, that you can run to get more information about a lot of different things. So some of them would be micronutrients, things like vitamin D, vitamin A, things like inflammatory markers, poop testing for immune system factors. And then we definitely will talk about the early cancer screening tests, because those are the ones that in a cancer prevention course are the most relevant. Those early cancer detection tests have changed slightly because one of the big companies that actually had a really good product has gone out of business, but there are still some that we can use. And I'm going to give you guys, if you do those diagnostics in the basic and advanced techniques sections, I'm going to tell you what to do with the results when you get them. So if you decide to spend the time and money to do those diagnostic tests, you'll be able to bring your test result back to the course and then go in that section of the course and say, okay, you know, my dog's vitamin D level is this. What is considered optimal? What are the suggestions? So it's obviously always best, and you'll be instructed to do this at the beginning of the course, to have a veterinarian that you trust and that you like to collaborate with. But you will also be able to be very empowered to do a lot of this on your own, because the tests that I'm going to suggest for you guys are all going to be direct to consumer, meaning that you can go direct to these companies and order these tests yourself. Yeah, so that was the next question Michelle asked. Will the diagnostics be something that most vets will be able to do? So there will be some tests that are blood, which then, yes, means that you need to have a veterinarian who's willing to draw it for you, but not all of them are. Some of them are urine tests, some of them are fur tests, some of them are stool tests. So you're able to do all of those by yourself. Now, it does usually require to have a strong relationship with your veterinarian so that they are open to doing these types of things for you. But there will be a lot of all of the diagnostics I'm going to make available to you guys, you'll be able to order yourself. But then I'll also create a list for you of, if you do have a good relationship with your veterinarian, these are the other ones you can ask them to do. Does the course cover the entire lifespan, or is it geared more towards senior dogs? Will there be a section on puppy care? So that's a good question. So the course is geared toward cancer prevention. Although cancer is supposed to be a disease of aged animals, as probably most of you know, very sadly, it affects all ages of animals. And so there's not going to be specific information about caring for senior dogs or caring for puppies, but there's going to be specific information about how does cancer develop, what are the biggest risk factors for cancer, what are the things in our environment causing cancer, what are all the things in our pets' environments that we have control over and that we make decisions about as pet parents, like how often to vaccinate, how to feed, what to feed, whether to spay and neuter, what to have in the home environments, what grooming supplies to use. Anything that we have control over as a pet parent that has a relationship to cancer, and whether it turns on or off triggers, is going to be discussed, so that whether you are dealing with a senior dog that has that you want to make sure does not develop cancer, a puppy that you want to set up for a cancer prevention lifestyle, or even an animal who has cancer now, you can use this information to make adjustments in your day-to-day decisions for them to affect and minimize either the cancer getting worse or the risk of getting cancer. Let's see. So you'll be empowering students to get a good start to understand their test results. Since many of these tests may be new to vets, will you have a list of vets that already use these or on board with these tests? So that's a good question. So yes. So along with the diagnostic tests that I'm going to suggest you guys get and use, I'm going to be reviewing what to do with the results of them. Now, it's going to be coming from a place of general education because I'm unable to make medical advice, but I'll be able to make a suggestion for you that in a situation where a test result would look like this would be my recommendation. As far as collaborating with veterinarians that are familiar with these tests, that comment is very true. Most of them don't know. And so the veterinarians who understand, that's actually probably a good idea. What I can do and what's going to eventually be on my website are the veterinarians that are in my current training program. So that's actually probably a good idea. I'm going to write that down, that we can make sure that they're listed somewhere because they're all over the country. So you guys might be closer to them than maybe to us if you wanted individualized help with a veterinarian. So that's a good point, and I will write that down. All right, the next question is, I suggested this course to my vet, but would she be better served by the course you offer specifically for veterinarians? We actually have 3 veterinarians signed up for the pet cancer prevention course. And so some of them have chosen to do that because it's much shorter, whereas my veterinarian course is very long. It's a 9-month program, and it's really intensive. We meet once or twice a month. We go through cases, so it's a much bigger responsibility, where the pet cancer prevention course is like a small chunk just to kind of get them interested. What I would just say to your veterinarian is that since this course is targeted to pet parents, obviously the way that I'm speaking is going to be with lay language, not using medical jargon. But I'm still giving you guys a ton of scientific information. I'm going to give you guys tons of resources because one of the things that I think is most important about empowering you is that when you go to have those conversations with your veterinarians, that you have those references and those resources so that you can have a higher quality conversation. Because I know one of the biggest challenges that pet parents face in this space with trying to use natural medicine and do these other types of diagnostics is that because the veterinarians think that there's air quote no evidence for any of them, that they will bump up against you. So I want you guys to have that evidence in hand so that if that happens, you can kind of have a higher quality conversation with them. So Janet, for your vet, I think if she's looking to just kind of have her like eyes opened, I think this course would be great for that. If she is already practicing high-level holistic medicine and she wants to go really, really deep into integrative oncology, then my longer mastermind course would be better for her. But thank you. I appreciate that. All right. What else do you guys have? Good questions. I appreciate it. If anybody would like to ask a question over Zoom, feel free to do the little raise hand button. I can click on you. To be clear, you will not be covering any conventional medical approaches, right? So what I will be doing is, so this is a good question because this gives me an opportunity to be really clear about what the course will and will not do. So what the course will not do is create a general protocol to follow. It definitely will not do that. And that's because there are already so many great resources for you guys to follow general protocols. There's really amazing people in the space who are already providing that really awesome information to all of you. What I want to do is make this really, really specific for you and your pet. So what the course is going to do is it's going to allow you to identify the exact specific areas of concern so you can just focus on them one at a time. So there will not be a general cancer prevention protocol that you're provided at all during this course. What you will be able to identify is, let's say, for example, wow, my pet's nutrition score is way higher than I want it to be. What are all the things that I can do to bring that score down? Or, wow, my pet's stress score is really, really high. What can I do to bring that down? And then you're going to have individual steps for each one of those sections so that after you implement them and you retake the test, you're going to see that number getting better and better. When it comes to conventional medical approaches, I will not be making any recommendations about those, but I will be providing a lot of data for you about why, in my opinion, we are targeting the wrong thing in cancer research, why cancer rates are so high, why cancer rates are getting higher, and why conventional cancer treatment doesn't work. And so I will talk about all of that, so that even though this is a cancer prevention course, I still want all of my pet parents to really understand the paradigm we found ourselves in cancer in general, because we're not going to be able to guarantee that by doing any of these steps that your pet will never get cancer. What the hope is that if that, God forbid, would still happen, it would be much later in life. It would be much less aggressive. It would be something that would respond better to treatment. And so if you do ever find yourself in that situation, you already are empowered with all this information that you can make better choices and decisions on how to proceed. What is the date of the first class? So the membership site will open to you guys June 3rd, and that first week is our intro week. And so what's going to happen that week is there actually will be no content other than videos to familiarize yourself with the membership site, and then a video with me describing what to expect, how to utilize the content, how to submit your questions when they come up, when we're going to meet to do our live calls. So the first week is not any of the heavy content. It's more of just like a getting to know the membership site, getting to know how to communicate with all of us. And then the actual content will start the following Monday, June 10th. And it'll come every Monday. You'll get a new week of material to watch. Will there be a section on immune therapy? Yeah, for sure. So when we talk about the background and we talk about how cancer happens, we'll be talking a lot about the immune system. When we talk about inflammation and we talk about toxins, we're going to be talking a lot about how they impact the immune system. When we talk about infectious agents, like things like mold and other types of tick-borne diseases, we'll be talking a lot about the immune system. And then based on the scorecard and where the weaknesses pop up, the immune system, like inflammation, is kind of this umbrella for cancer. So it's going to hit a lot of different targets. So it's going to come up a lot. Aside from getting all of these tools to help prevent cancer, are there other benefits? I'm thinking the info you're sharing helps with general health, wellness, happy life, and longer life. Yeah, Lori, that's like such a great point, and thank you. The thing about cancer prevention is it's just chronic disease prevention in general. The things that we know are environmental factors that drive cancer, things like toxin exposure, body condition, the processing of food, physical activity, circadian rhythms being in balance. Those also drive other chronic diseases like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, osteoarthritis, liver issues, autoimmune disease, chronic GI disease. So although this course is marketed as a cancer prevention course, and it absolutely is, that's what my focus is for you guys, by doing all of these steps, you are bringing down the risk of all other chronic diseases because of how closely they're all linked to the same things. So that's a great point that I've not done a great job of conveying, because that's so important, that yes, along with preventing cancer, by making all of these adjustments, it'll prevent all other chronic diseases as well. So thank you, Lori, for mentioning that. I'm going to make a note about that to make sure to convey that better. All right. Will the course allow us to share info with others, or will we be bound not to share materials provided by the course? So everything is copywritten. So anytime that you would like to share something, you have to make sure that the copyright marks are listed with it. In that first week intro, we're also going to explain to you how we want you to do that, because I do want you guys sharing your kind of aha moments and your, like brain exploding emoji moments with other pet parents, right? Because we want to share this information and start really disseminating this knowledge to people, because the more that you know, the better that you can do. So we will be explaining exactly what is acceptable and is not acceptable. Basically, what you can't do is you can't take my slides and like post them all over Facebook. Like that's not okay, because that's not fair to all the people that have invested into the course. But yes, there will be opportunities for you to share, tidbits and takeaways and information to help empower other people. And we'll kind of lay out how you can do that. Will you be able to educate us on how to test for mold? Yes, I totally will. It's a test we run all the time in the practice. People think it mostly comes from water damaged homes and mostly comes from their pet food. A lot of my patients have mold toxicity. So that's one of the tests that we're going to show you how to get. And that's one of the tests that I will review with you how to interpret and what to do with the results you get. The importance of decreasing inflammation in the body. Yeah, so inflammation is a driver. We've linked it to all chronic diseases, cancer being one of them, but all those others that we mentioned. And inflammation happens for lots of reasons. When there's imbalances of the intestine, the bugs in your intestines, when there's too much stress in an animal's life, when they are exposed to too many toxins, when there's hormone imbalances, when there's blood sugar dysregulation, all those things contribute to inflammation in the body. And so all of those things are things that we can test for and we can get information about and then decide what to do so that we can optimize it and make it better. Because, our systems and our pet systems, they're never static. They're always changing with their environments, how old they are, where they're living, what's going on around them. So even if, let's say, you're an amazing pet parent, you've done everything right, you do the scorecard, you get a really high score, that's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing, but then take it again in 6 or 12 months, because things can always change, and it'll help you to keep identifying those areas as they shift. Awesome. Good questions, guys. We're flying through them. What else? I know we have a couple people who are on who have already signed up. That's amazing. I don't know if there's any specific things people are concerned about that they want to make sure is clear that I haven't made clear yet. What is the array of alternative approaches you will be covering in the course? Oh, geez. It depends on what it is that we're talking about. So, if it's an environmental toxin, I might share ways to eliminate them from your environment, either ways that are really simple, like turning off your Wi-Fi at night, or maybe directing you to products that I use to help to ground myself better and minimize my radiation exposure. If it's something like nutrition and you maybe aren't employing any fasting practices with your pet, I will make some suggestions on fasting practices that you could consider. If it is some type of environmental toxin like mold, I'll make some suggestions on how to minimize the exposure to mold and how to eliminate it from your pet if they come back with high levels. So there's going to be a lot of different options. The reason I broke it down into basic and advanced is because I wanted there to be really cheap and easy choices. And then I wanted there to be ones where you could invest more money and get stronger results if you're dealing with something really challenging. Because not everything is going to need all the advanced techniques. Some stuff might only need the basic ones, but in some situations you might be dealing with like really high levels of a toxin or lots of exposure that, is really scary. And so you're going to want to do something a little bit more aggressive. So that's why you're going to have both options. What will you be providing? Will you be providing suggestions for supplement brands based on the individual scorecard? And will you discuss ways to detox and or reverse things that have may have already done damage already? Yes. So when there are specific brands that I think are worth mentioning, and it doesn't have to just be like a general product, like for example, like there are turmeric companies, there's so many of them. You don't need to pick just one. I would make suggestions on like what kind of turmeric, but it wouldn't need to be a special brand. But for example, when I detox glyphosate from patients, which is what's in Roundup, there's a very specific product that I like that I think works the best. So in that instance, I will direct you to where I think that you should get the product from, because I think that it works best. And will you discuss ways to detox and reverse things that may have already caused damage? So yeah, so detoxification and methylation are two huge, they're a lecture in themselves. So both of those we will definitely talk about. And in the techniques section, detox is in there. I mean, so much of what we'll be doing, it will be talking about detox because that's how we handle all of the toxins. So yes, they will be in there. I was thinking in an informational way. What is vitamin C therapy good for? What are acupuncture and herbs good for? Got it. So the course will definitely not talk about that. So the course will not say like IV vitamin C should be used for this, or acupuncture should be used for this, or herbs will be used for this, unless there's a specific indication that comes in the scorecard. So let me think of what something like that might be. Let's say that your pet's stress score is really high. Acupuncture would be listed on the advanced technique because acupuncture for stress management is beneficial. So the specific non-traditional treatment modalities that you can seek outside of you doing it yourself with professionals will be listed if there's a specific indication for them on the things that you'll be evaluating in the scorecard. I hope that answered that question. You're welcome, Lori. All right, great. Although this is a pet course, are there benefits for the owners as well? Thanks, Jess. That's a great question. So, although obviously I'm a veterinarian and obviously this is for pet parents, what I think is really great about learning all of this information is it's going to translate to you and to your family. So one of the biggest gifts that learning all of this information for my patients has done is it's helped to improve my understanding of my health and help to improve my own health and my family's health. And so animal cancer is so similar to human cancer. And especially in our companion animals like our dogs and cats that live in our environments, the things that are causing cancer in them, especially if they're in their home, are the things that could cause cancer in you because they're in your home. And so you're going to be learning about all of this with the intent to obviously improve the health span and longevity of your pet. But by you making these adjustments, it's going to do the same thing for you. And so the reality is that although human oncology care and human cancer prevention diagnostics are much more advanced than what we have available for the pet population, it's all very similar. And so, my hope is that not only does it help your pet, but maybe it helps you or a loved one. So I absolutely think that there are benefits because this information is going to be very translational. And you're going to find in my lectures when I talk with you, because we don't have as much data and information on the human side, you're going to, you guys have probably all seen my videos. I'm always talking about the published literature, and there's tons of it on the human side. So you're going to get all of that info. And so although it's for the animals, it'll be for you too, which is really cool. All right. Will there be diagnostic tests you recommend? If so, will we as pet parents have access to order these tests directly, or if our veterinarian is not on board? Yes. Suzette, I know you came in a little bit late, and so we answered it before and we'll answer it again for you. So the diagnostic tests that I recommend are going to be direct to consumer. So I've already spoken with the companies, and we've created a system so that you guys can get them directly yourself, so that you do not have to work with a veterinarian to be able to do them. And part of the course, basic and advanced techniques sections, is going to allow you to interpret them and know what to do with them. We still will recommend you having a veterinarian, because not every pet will have very simple, straightforward issues. Some of them may need to get a veterinarian involved. And so we'll provide those tests, the suggested tests for those more advanced techniques with a veterinarian. But the baseline tests that I'm going to be suggesting doing are going to be direct consumer. So you will be able to order them yourself. And they're going to be stool, urine, fur testing. And then the blood you'll have to take into the office. Can you explain the scorecard and how comprehensive it is? How many indicators are included, for example? So it's very extensive. So it's going to take into account, let me actually pull up while we're talking to remind myself the numbers of all of them. So it's going to take account nearly everything that we can assess without doing medical record evaluation, but we will take your understanding of your pet's health. So breed, age, neuter status, vaccine history, toxin exposures that you're aware of, where you live and proximity to Superfunds, stress levels, feeding times, processing level of diets, how many polyphenols are in the diet, how much fiber do they get? I'm trying to think of all the questions on the questionnaire. It's going to be extensive, and it's going to be based on different sections and categories so that you can really identify where to start. How comprehensive it is, how many indicators are included, for example. How many indicators? Many. There's 10 main sections because it's going to be a score out of 100. So each section you're going to get a score of 5 to 10. So if I had to say how many indicators there are, I want to say 50. There's about 50. Let me know if that answered your question. If not, I can expand on it more. Oh, good. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Awesome. Perfect. Is there anything that people were looking for to be covered that I haven't mentioned yet? Good. No answers. That means we got it covered. It's going to be, I was thinking about this a little bit today when I was working on one of the slides. And, this is not, like I mentioned earlier, this is not going to be general protocols. You're not going to take the course and then say, okay, Kendra says to feed turmeric and mushrooms and, green tea, and you're going to go out and you're going to buy those. This is going to be, I'm assessing my animal's health at this moment in time, and I'm assessing where their strengths and weaknesses are at this moment in time. And then I'm going to take this playbook and identify how to correct it. But there's also a lot of background information. And I'm going to explain in that first week, why we're not going to jump right to that scorecard, even though that's kind of where everybody wants to start. I really want to make sure that you understand the background information, because if you do it that way, by the time you get to the scorecard, as you're taking that quiz, I guarantee you, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, this is going to be a problem, or, oh, shoot, I got this under control, because you're going to know based on all that background information, what's causing it and what's not causing it. Because the very unfortunate reality, in my opinion, specifically with cancer, is that there are so many factors within our control that we're made to believe are not within our control, that are very likely driving the ever increasing rates of cancer. And so I want to make sure that you guys know what all of these are, so that you can make conscious decisions every day of whether you're going to expose yourself, your pet, your family to them, or whether you're not going to do it anymore. And so it's not just about getting the scorecard and getting the protocol. It's really about me making sure that you guys have all this information to move forward with. And then that scorecard is just kind of like the assessment so that you know where your pet's at and what to do about it. And also, it's in the write-ups and everything, so you guys probably are aware of this, but the scorecard, it doesn't need to, it can be used all the time, and it can be used on all your pets, because frankly, it can be used on yourself. And so it's just an assessment of the overall health and what you can do to kind of optimize that. Is there any preparation we should do before the course starts? Let's see. I think what would be great is to really think about what you want to get out of it. Part of what we're going to do in the beginning is get some information about our participants. Like, is it a senior pet you have? Is it a puppy you have? Is it an active cancer patient that you have? And like, what are your goals? Because that'll help us to make sure that we can help you to achieve them. The other thing that I would do to prepare is just, if you're someone who's always doing courses and maybe enrolled in school or other programs, sitting down and listening to lectures may be natural for you and not be challenging. But if you're like a lot of people and you have a busy life and you have a busy family, sitting down and really focusing can be a challenge. So I would maybe look at your schedule, look at your calendar, and identify that time window where you're going to really protect it for you to sit down and listen, and get a lovely notebook, decide what tea you're going to make for yourself, sit down and just be ready to kind of participate, because you're going to get as much out of the course as you put in. And if you're like frantic and hurried and listening to lectures here and there and not really thinking about it, it's going to be hard to piece it all together, because this is heavy stuff. Everybody's going to do amazing. It's not hard information. It's just heavy stuff to think about. And a lot of it's going to be eye-opening. So make sure you find that time on your schedule where you get to protect it for you, so that you can really put everything you want into it. Beyond the research articles you share, we also provide a list of resources, books, websites, institutions that would be useful to everyone. Yeah. So every lecture where there is relevant reading materials or resources, I will give you what those are. The first week, your homework is going to be to read one of them. I have like a whole list of references that I think are really helpful. So that's going to be like your first homework assignment that first week, is to read one of them. Educationally speaking, not product. Yeah, exactly. So educational speaking. So podcasts, websites, search engines, textbooks, regular books. What else is on some of the resources? YouTube videos, if I think they're helpful, handouts I've created. So yeah, you guys will get a whole kind of supplemental references section on each one of the modules as well. Great. What else, guys? Lots of good questions. I'm glad you guys are excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really impactful, and I hope it gives everybody what they're looking for. Anything else? Did everybody get all their questions answered? Lori wants to know how my horse is doing. He's good. It was very hot here. And so, as you know, Lori, because it was hot where you are too, and he was not happy about working yesterday. All right, awesome. Well, I am this recording, this Zoom call is being recorded. So if you had to come in late or you had to leave early, anybody had to leave early, they can pop back on and watch it. We'll be posting it. So feel free to go back to it so that you can listen to those answers again. I'm also going to be doing it again on the 30th, like we mentioned earlier. So if other things come up, you have other questions, feel free to jump back on. Also remember that email that's listed, the hello@prisonpetsacademy.com, is directly for the pet parent course. So if something specifically comes up, you can use that email and we'll respond to you. And yeah, I'm glad to see everybody here. It's super exciting for me. So let us know what questions you have, because we'd love to have you join us and be with us. Just reminding me, it's 5:31. I apologize. Friday, 5:31. Janet, oh, that's so sweet. You're awesome. Thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm so glad you're going to be a part of it. Angelica, yay. I'm so glad. Yay. We love Kaylee. Awesome. All right, cool, guys. You're the best. Well, thank you. And we'll either see you on the 31st or hopefully on June 3rd when we get started. I would love it. So bye. We'll see you guys soon. Everybody have a great night. Bye.